I pulled up IMDb and filtered for movies released between 2020 and 2024. I also omitted the movies that had less than 100 user ratings and more than 16,000. This ensures the likelihood that none of the movies on this list have been seen by anyone in the room. Also, they had to be available to stream right now. I read through the descriptions, watched some trailers, and selected 11 movies. As I watch each movie, I'll re-rank them based on how funny it was. I added links for you to stream each movie below. The first movie's storyline describes Charles as a womanizer. However, I believe douchebag is more accurate. In robots, civilian ownership of robots is illegal. Charles not only has an illegal robot, it's also his double. He sends the robot to his job in his place, and the robot also helps build his social media profile, while he sits at home and plays video games. However, the main purpose of the double is to meet women. The bot does all the courting, and Charles has all the sex. His plan is going well until he meets Elaine, a gold digger. After a mix-up, Charles accidentally sends his robot to have sex with Elaine. I chuckled a lot and burst out laughing a number of times, especially during the initial mix-up. Robots explores themes of identity, deception, and the consequences of tech advancements. It effectively uses comedy to underscore the absurdity and potential pitfalls of living vicariously through proxies. Speaking of proxies, having a child is one of the most special moments a couple will experience. While there are different ways couples go about bringing a new life into the world, this movie explores a future where the process has been streamlined. In the pod generation, couples provide the semen and the egg to a tech company called Pegasus. The child is then gestated in an artificial uterus known as a pod. The pod is essentially a large egg that parents carry in a specially designed papoose. No, not the rapper. Yeah, that. Rachel is moving up the corporate ladder and is currently due for a promotion. Her boss suggests using the pod from Pegasus if she plans on conceiving. This way, she doesn't have to miss work. Her husband Alvy is a botanist who likes natural things, and birth is one of them. Alvy eventually relents, and the couple begins the process. Without giving too much away, let's just say things don't go as planned. To be honest, this is a good movie, but it does end a bit abruptly. The pod generation explores the ethical and emotional ramifications of outsourcing pregnancy to technology. It questions the future of human reproduction and the potential emotional cost on our lives. One of the more interesting concepts is the movie Duel. The movie takes a humorous look at the morbid topic of death. In this reality, when a person is on their deathbed, they're able to clone themselves, a la the title Duel, as in two. In order to assume the life of the original after they pass, the clone must live with the original and get to know everything about them. By law, only people on their deathbeds may have clones. So when the main character Sarah recovers from her illness, the clone must be decommissioned. But what happens if everyone you love likes the clone more than you? And what if the clone doesn't want to be decommissioned? In that case, the duel must duel to the death. Duel examines the unintended consequences of attempting to cheat death through technology. The movie raises poignant questions about what truly makes us ourselves, and the aspects of our personalities that endear us to others or push them away. Sometimes you just need to save yourselves. This is a meta story about a couple, Sue and Jack, who head to a private cabin in order to spend time with each other and disconnect from the internet. They turn off their phones, laptops, basically anything with a Wi-Fi connection or Ethernet port. And then the planet gets attacked. No, not their country, the planet. If you find it a bit slow in the beginning, I did too. It's bearable though. The funny parts are actually really funny, so it's worth the wait. Based on the 5.8 rating, you wouldn't expect it to be one of the better movies on this list, but it is. Save Yourselves cleverly critiques the influence of technology on contemporary lifestyles and portrays the couple's initial detachment from their devices as both a source of liberation and a vulnerability. I'm totally fine with you hitting the like button and notification bell if you found this list helpful so far. And I'm totally fine a woman named Vanessa is mourning the death of her best friend and business partner. While at the rental home they plan to host a celebration party, an alien takes the form of her dead friend. Vanessa tries to convince herself that she's totally fine and not going insane. It's a depiction of someone dealing with grief in humorous and heartfelt moments. Additionally, It's a subtle critique on society's attitude toward mourning and the pressure to quickly move on from loss. Unfortunately, moving on after the Earth is invaded may not be an option for everyone. On Earth, where aliens called VUV have assumed a bureaucratic role, children learn VUV history via brain nodes, and humans eat 3D printed blocks. In Landscape with Invisible Hand, humans are expected to learn a language based on sounds that are, well, just listen.
I apologize, I mean no disrespect.
I mean, how are they even supposed to do that? In order to make some extra money, two teens, Adam and Chloe, set their nodes to broadcast and stream their courtship for the aliens. Just when you think it can't get any weirder, the aliens' courtship broadcast commission sued the teens for clickbait. You can expect themes of economic struggle, societal manipulation, and the resilience of the human spirit. Molly and Max in the future. It's an intergalactic rom-com about two people, well, actually the guy says he's half fish. Anyway, Molly and Max first meet after a space accident. After developing a friendship, they run into each other every few years and catch up. Most of the conversations are about their current relationship situations. At first, I hated it. Then 20 minutes in, I started laughing. From there it plateaus though. Then I spent the next hour watching them get in and out of various relationships. It's quirky, but a bit too quirky for my liking. I mean, you might like it though. Linoleum is about an astronomer named Cameron who has a children's show that only comes on at midnight. As you can guess, no kids watch the show. He's in the middle of a divorce, although it seems like it's not his decision. Cam's life is all but boring. That is until a rocket part lands in his backyard. This event reiterates to Cam that what he really wanted to be was an astronaut. So, he attempts to accomplish that childhood dream. There's even a nice twist at the end to make up for what the story lacks in depth and completeness. It's a story about personal universes and the perception of one's own reality. This next movie is the most different in terms of style. It's a mockumentary. The character Brian is speaking directly to us and the cameraman. Brian and Charles does a great job of presenting Brian in an empathetic way. He's like an only child in a neighborhood with no other kids, almost literally. His village is small and his home is some distance away from the others. Brian even appears uncomfortable when he tells us how good things will be for him in the future. It's a bit depressing because you realize he's trying to convince himself of these things. The story doesn't keep you there though, it's just a part of the character and world building that make you appreciate the simplicity of his robot all the much more. Along the way, Charles the robot learns more about humanity, develops wit, and a childlike behavior that is the cornerstone of the movie's humor. Charles eventually wants to go into town, and this is where the trouble starts. The mockumentary style provides an intimate and authentic feel to Brian and Charles. Through Brian's candid narration, I felt invited into his world, where I empathize with his loneliness and longing for connection. From the opening scene, there's a relatable charm to Milton. Whatever he wants, whatever he needs, I want him to get it. In the movie Jules, coincidentally, that's the name of my plant, we realize that Milton may be in the early stages of dementia. The people in his life are nice, but don't take him all too seriously. Insert an alien, a government reward for $10,000, nosy neighbors, and you have a charming comedy that will also tug on your heartstrings. Jules is a reflection on life's uncertainties and the fleeting nature of time. The movie reminds us to embrace life's adventures, cherish the bonds we forge along the way, and find joy in the unexpected moments. In Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes, as soon as the loop started, I was hooked. It's filmed to feel like one continuous shot. It's really well done. Once the main character Kato realizes he's in a loop, he tries to explain the confusing situation to his friends. Surprisingly, they understand right away, and they too enter the loop, all while inviting others to be a part of that loop. I promise, if you're saying to yourself, I know where this is going, trust me, you don't. The story takes a few different turns because the characters complicate the loop. Beyond the Infinite 2 Minutes blends elements of comedy, mystery, sci-fi, and suspense into a cohesive and entertaining story. So, even though it's not the funniest movie on the list, it's a standout entry on any list of must-watch sci-fi movies. So let's compare the two lists. Only 2 movies remained in the same positions, Jules and Landscape. Some other truths you probably didn't know are these I Am Legend facts.